Hey everybody, and welcome to Talk Chain, the podcast where we talk about all things crypto. Today we're going to get into Robinhood, the commission-free mobile app exchange actually being able to trade crypto now. And we're also going to talk about the Stellar Lumens roadmap and what it means for the future of the coin. My name is Matt, and with me is Rob. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Yourself?
Doing all right. So market overall looking pretty basic. Nothing wild to report. We do see a bit of a Stellar Lumens jump, and I think we'll get into that. Interestingly, so the news that we want to talk about today is Robinhood, that the commission-free mobile app that you can use right now to trade equities. They've announced that you're going to be able to monitor a bunch of different coins, and in 5 states in the United States, you're going to be able to actually trade these coins. So, sorry everybody who's not in those 5 states.
90% of the country.
I happen to be in California, so I'm going to enjoy this quite a bit. And yeah, so it's exciting to see an exchange, especially like Robinhood, given that they're commission free and they're not a very established company. They're established in that their product works, but they haven't been around for very long, and they don't have very many products on their actual app itself in terms of equities. So them moving to the crypto space is actually pretty exciting. But the news itself didn't really seem to have an effect on Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the other coins that they announced that are going to be on their watch list or to be traded.
Well, I think it'll change some things once trading actually happens on it. I'm not sure. Did they give a specific date?
They said in February you're going to be able to trade. The people in the 5 states are going to be able to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the rest are going to come on slowly. I assume it's just, it's probably going to be some shady backdoor deals where they all buy a bunch of the coin before they announce it, and then they announce it and let people trade.
Well, interesting. I wonder if they bought a bunch today and we're like, oh, nothing happened. But
Maybe, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like it made a big effect. So, um, yeah, but it's interesting because the coins that they're going to let you monitor, it's actually a pretty exhaustive list, and they include a lot of coins that I hold already and coins that I think have a good future.
is Tron on the list?
Yeah. Sad to say it didn't make the cut. Don't
Really?
yeah,
Interesting.
don't know why,
Top 20
but
coin. Yeah, no, it's good for crypto overall. I think just because of the fact that it's being listed on an app that is also going to list some like actual securities, some things of value. Uh, so it might kind of help overall. There are right now 286,000 people signed up for it already.
Oh
So they're
nice.
looking to get early access for it. So
Hmm.
it's pretty impressive, and those numbers are growing just as we're talking right now.
Yeah, so that's just early access. I assume that everybody's gonna eventually jump on board, and I actually looked at the numbers of Robinhood users, and I'm pulling up an article here from November 1st of last year, and they claim to have about 3 million users. So it's not an insignificant number of people who use the app, and who knows how much money they have in the actual like retail investors actually have in the app.
hmm It's going to be interesting to see if anyone else follows suit, like if E-Trade or Questrade decides to get involved as well.
Yeah. So for
Then,
those
sorry, go ahead.
Questrade is a Canadian broker for those that don't know.
Yes, yes. Well, it will be a big impact because Robinhood is a non-factor here.
Yeah.
So all of my two crypto pals cannot get on Robinhood.
Hmm.
We use Quadriga CX for those of you who don't know, or if anyone wants to get involved in Canadian crypto, it takes probably a couple weeks to verify, but once it's going, it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that Canadian crypto life, it can't be easy.
It's not. Well, the good thing about Quadriga is the fees are actually a little bit less than Coinbase, so it's
Mm.
helping a little bit.
Oh, really? Well, it'd be nice if Robinhood were available in your country, but it would really help. So anyway, so for those of you in the U.S., this is definitely going to save you fees if you don't use GDAX, which currently has no fees for trading if you're a maker, a market maker, not a market taker. So this will be nice, and it puts pressure on Coinbase to be a better app. Competition in the market is always great. And like you said, Rob, I think the biggest thing is that if other brokers start to see Robinhood do this and other brokers sort of jump ship, this could be a really big on-ramp for people actually being able to get their fiat into Bitcoin if they wanted.
Well, especially if they start to see some success for Robinhood, like if they start getting some market share in just kind of overall compared to E-Trade, then there might be something, they might think there's something to it. And part of me wonders what's going to happen with FairX if Robinhood's already kind of jumping the gun on them.
Yeah, and there's probably room in the market for multiple exchanges or brokers like that, but definitely having Robinhood being one of the first brokers to actually let you buy Bitcoin like this is going to be advantageous for them.
Yeah, maybe they tried to jump the gun on that, which is why there's only 5 states, just so they can get ahead of FairX, who was probably waiting for all 50.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. And so just before anybody gets too excited that this is gonna spike the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'm not too optimistic about that just yet, only because the number of users on Coinbase right now is about 12 million. So Robinhood doesn't have more than a quarter of Coinbase's user base already. So, it's cute that people are going to be able to trade more on their mobile app with Robinhood, but I don't think it's going to bring a ton of liquidity into the market and a ton of buying. So I'm not holding my breath that this is going to be big, but I think it's still optimistic overall in the market.
So this is an entirely different app, correct?
Then what?
Than just regular Robinhood.
So I don't know how they're going to roll it out, to be honest. When you look at the crypto Robinhood, it seems like it's a different thing, but I really hope they don't make another app. It'd be really annoying to have to transfer from my regular Robinhood to the crypto Robinhood. I assume it's going to be all sort of worked into the same app, but they didn't really provide many details on that.
Right, and that's what I was thinking, because it would make it easier to get somebody to trade into Bitcoin or Ethereum if there is only one app, but if there's two, it might not change really anything.
Yeah, that's true, because it's just like another exchange. But to be fair, though, there's not a ton of options to get fiat into crypto. So you've got just the big ones, and so this is another on ramp like that. So I think these are like the most critical things to get people to adopt it more.
Definitely.
So related to your FairX thing, we noticed that the Stellar Lumens roadmap was announced today, or they did a nice blog post sort of outlining the steps they wanted to take. And this, I think, is obviously why Stellar Lumens is pumping a little bit today. Price is at 63 cents, up 11% on the day. Still ranked number 6 behind Cardano, the great Cardano. And I don't know. They started out with this sort of randos per week thing, which seems like a joke a bit. They're kind of just talking about discussion of Stellar as like an indicator.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It seems like it was written by like me. That's why I kind of like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, randos per week, just like the amount of random people talking to other people who had brought up cryptocurrency. It's interesting metric. I'm sure it's not real.
Well, who cares? Why start out your roadmap post with this? This kind of like is like what? There's like children behind this, sort of like, oh, look at how much attention we're getting.
Well, I think it's meant to say that they're not taking it as serious as some of the other people. It makes it a little bit lighthearted, kind of changes the mood versus a super dry update or a super dry announcement that might happen. So I'm a fan of it, but professional Matt might disagree.
Well, it's just people have money in this. This isn't like I can understand if you're a company and you're trying to be hip and stuff, but I don't know. This just this didn't appeal to me at all. What really did appeal to me though was this SDEX, SDEX, STEX, the
Yes.
Stellar Decentralized Exchange.
Yes. It's it's interesting because I was personally under the impression that FairX was just going to be what they used for their exchange,
Yeah,
and that they wouldn't have something else entirely. So it makes me question a couple things about whether or not FairX is going to be based around Stellar entirely, or if maybe they're just kind of hedging their bets.
yeah. So it's not clear to me entirely how the two are going to work together, or if they are separate projects, or if this actually is FairX in a different, in like they're just branding it this way or something.
Mhm.
So, and they didn't talk about FairX at all in this. So, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, well, it's tough. Like maybe they just don't have any updates for when anything's going to come out. I know that you'd have to think that people were looking for it,
Yeah.
which is probably why they talked about the Stellar Decentralized Exchange on point one. But it's going to be interesting. Day one trading for any Stellar ICO token, um, low trading fees. So it's really, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to change a whole lot. It depends on what ICO tokens actually come out for under the Stellar network.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kick recently switched from Ethereum to Stellar, so maybe that'll be one of them.
Yeah. And it looks like they actually have a lot of money to throw around to help them get support in this area. So the grants of up to 2 million for partners in these areas, I thought that was interesting. I didn't really realize how much money they had for grants. Sort of like we sort of brought up how Request Network was offering grants to groups of people who want to help them with their work, and I guess Stellar's doing a similar thing, offering grants to sort of get people involved to develop their platform.
Yeah, it's interesting. They are worth quite a bit of money, over $11 billion right now. So
Yeah.
it does give them some leverage to use against some other platform plays,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're not going to, if the other ones aren't going to be offering those sorts of incentives. So it'll be interesting to see if people take them up on it. I think they will, but Stellar's got to be kind of picky with who they actually give that to.
Yeah, I would assume so. So the other thing that I thought was really neat about the SDEX is this the Mobius coin or Mobius token is like their first large ICO on the actual exchange, which is great. So in terms of adoption, this is great news. Ethereum is still like the number one in terms of platform that's being used, but to see an ICO on the Stellar decentralized exchange is good, and hopefully they get a lot of momentum with a lot of interest in getting other people to add their
Yeah,
coins.
I'm not entirely sure what Mobius is. It came out like 5 days ago, so it's something likely worth researching. I know it's ranked further than 1,000 on Coin Market Cap right now,
Yeah.
but I'm sure as it builds up its brand and with stellar support, it'll be at least mildly successful.
Yeah, definitely. And this sort of like opens the gates now, and I hope that after they have one, now it's people can see how this goes, and then once they trust the technology a little bit, then others can jump
Definitely.
on. So I also noticed they had this Lightning network on Stellar. So I wasn't entirely aware that they were trying to get a Lightning network on their network as well, because I thought the technology made it so that it was just quicker transfers than Bitcoin in general, so you wouldn't need anything like that. But for them to go into detail on how they're doing it and what they're hoping to do and get out of a Lightning network, I think is nice to know. Nice for a little
Yeah, it's nice
update.
to know. And apparently, the Lightning Network also offers offline transactions. So,
Mm,
just something where if it doesn't necessarily need to be on the blockchain, it doesn't have to be. So, I
right.
think it kind of helps, maybe from a secretive standpoint as well. But no, I think it's
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but the whole point of the Lightning Network, right, is that it's a secondary channel from the blockchain, right? Or it gets added later or something. I don't remember. It's
yeah,
been
I
a
think it's
while.
just another layer on top of it. But um,
Mm-hmm.
no, so I think it'll be useful for them to have, even if it's not used, it's useful kind of overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So the last thing I noticed they talked about their partners, 37 partners last year, including they name drop IBM. I've never heard of Tempo, but this is the only thing, IBM, gigantic company. That sort of partnership, I think, holds a lot of promise for them in the future. And yeah, and I had no idea it was 37
Yeah, no,
partners.
they're doing pretty well. It's You can tell that it drastically changed their trajectory once IBM got involved. I think it really just brought it from, like, I think the $500 million market cap, and then all the way up to like 15 billion at one point. So it a
Mm.
lot of it was riding on this hype. So
Mm-hmm.
and I assume it'll get back to that once Fairx gets released or that information gets confirmed. IBM's being pretty secretive about it. So hopefully, hopefully for
Yeah.
Stellar and for everybody invested in Stellar, that'll come to fruition.
Yeah. So what are you doing with Stellar? Are you buying, selling,
I
holding,
hold
hodling?
Stellar right now. I kind of got sick of waiting because I'm
Mm.
impatient.
Typical.
Yeah, cannot handle just keeping myself still. But um, I do own some. I'm thinking about getting some more. I'm waiting on Icon, to be honest, to finish, and then those will be spread out amongst. Um, I think about Request,
Mm-hmm.
Stellar, and maybe a couple shit coins.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yes. So I'm holding a lot of Stellar. I think I bought my average price is in the 40 cent range. I bought when it was quite low, and then I doubled down when it was quite high, and then the disaster happened. But I haven't sold anything. I think the project holds a lot of promise, and I'm looking forward to their next blog post or update with everything. And I think them announcing anything new with IBM or Fairx is sort of what I'm waiting for to see how that project goes out, how that project gets rolled out. But otherwise, I don't think I'm disappointed in this roadmap update. I'm weary though. I'm keeping my eyes open, and if they continue to be sort of immature with their starting point of the blog post, I might just sell a bit of my
Well,
position.
yeah, you can do that to get back at them. I think it'll be a bad move on your part just because of a couple of jokes, but yeah, you never know. You could be right. It could be a bunch of 6-year-olds running this show.
Yeah, who knows? So, with that, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Please like or comment as well, and let us know what you think. Does Stellar have potential in the future, and what do you think about Robinhood? Please use my Binance code if you don't have a Binance account yet. Rabs are trash. Anything else, Rob?
He's had a tough week, so